welcome back to the Ketchup Corner. We have not posted in a week. Benson's asleep. We have not posted in a week. We ended up not finishing the show we were originally going to talk about in this episode, and we were going to film a Christmas episode, but we ended up taking just time to spend with our family for the holidays. We hope you understand, but we are back. We were going to talk about Visions and Acolyte, but we're just going to talk about Acolyte because just the way things ended up working out, we're switching up the uploading schedule a little bit, but everything will fall on the same dates. That should tell you what Benson thought of this show. Sweetheart.
Ah! What'd I miss?
Just the introduction to the podcast.
Oh, shit. Okay, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the Acolyte.
Wake me up when it's over. Do I have to talk about this?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What is the Acolyte, babe?
It's set in the High Republic, one of the few times we get High Republic media that isn't a book. Probably the last time ever after this show. And it follows a murder mystery, essentially, for the first part, where who's killing the Jedi? And why is it specific Jedi? And then the main character's like, oh my god, why do people think it's me? And then we get the plot twist. You can imagine where it goes from there. And then it's more of like, I'm going to learn these things. I don't care about the show.
Okay, so I feel like with that description, this was the show that I was most interested in for this month.
Yeah.
Because we don't start to get into the shows that I'm really interested in until January. But
yeah, this is a substitute teacher show.
Yeah, I was really, really interested in this show because I like the idea of a Jedi detective trying to figure out what's going on and who's killing all of these Jedi and why. But we get that plot twist really early on.
Yeah. Very early on.
And
it's just her twin sister.
Yeah, so I don't like the trope of... First of all, it opened up really promising. We got that first battle scene. We got to see the murderer actually killing the first victim. Which, honestly, I don't love. I do not love the trope where we know who the killer is right away.
Yeah.
And even though there was a little bit of a twist here with it being our main character's twin sister.
Ooh.
That was also predictable and just not fun. So I think that took the enjoyment out of that right away because we got that reveal in episode 1.
It's so boring. You know, say what you will about Batman, but at least it was a proper detective show. There's no proper detectiveness to it. It's just a lot of talking. I really was excited for this show, too, and there's glimpses of it where it could be good. I'm not like typical fans that's hating it just to hate it and saying it's the worst thing ever. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's not good. It's so disappointing, and it pisses me off because there should have been some promise here. I mean, there's, like, nothing. There's interesting points where it's like one Jedi poisons himself, essentially, because of guilt. That's an interesting talking point, but they go nowhere with it, really. Other than a flashback episode showing the events. They don't show anything, you know? It just focuses on the wrong things. Mm-hmm. But I digress. Give me your thoughts. All right.
So let's talk about characters. Our main character is Osha. She used to be a Jedi, and she has decided to leave the Order.
Yep.
Her twin sister, May, she's the one that is killing all of these Jedi because she has a vendetta against them, but we don't necessarily know what that vendetta is.
Yeah.
May has been accused of setting a fire by the Jedi that has killed her entire family.
Yep.
So obviously Osha has strong opinions
family,
on that.
We should say.
Yes,
like,
family.
Like it's a witch tribe, essentially.
Yes, it's a coven.
Yes, it's a coven. They are family in an Olive Garden sense. You know what I mean? But I'm kidding. Covens are pretty rad. But I just... that gets it. Go ahead. Keep going from there. No, I'm getting upset.
And then we have Sol, who is supposed to be the detective in this. He's the one that is trying to figure out why May is killing these Jedi. And we find out that he happens to be one of the Jedi that she is looking for.
Yep. Yep.
And then we have some other, like, Padawans that, like, May grew up with, and, like, they're trying to help. Like, they're the ones that are taking her in because they think Osha is the one behind it, and because they don't know anything about her sister.
Yeah.
This has some interesting characters.
I'm very intrigued by your definition of interesting.
Okay, first of all, I feel the need to somewhat apologize for my take on, or my hate on the Kylo Ren shippers, because the villain in this one, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, I guess.
He's a beautiful man. I loved him in The Good Place.
Yeah.
And in this one, yeah, I can see it. So I somewhat apologize to the Book Talk girlies.
I don't apologize
really.
to anybody. Book Talk is such a plague on humanity.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it.
No, there's a specific side of Book Talk that
okay,
is,
like
is
the 80% of the apple pie.
No. There's some. I found some good books because of Book Talk.
Congrats.
It's a good platform,
No, it's
but
not.
Sometimes, like any other platform, it has its toxic side.
This is the Sonic and Pokemon fandom of like entertainment, and
Yeah.
I say that very, very like loosely as a fan of these series. I'll say that much. But other than Book Talk, that's the dark side of the books. No. I mean, I see the romance, I guess.
No, I don't like it as a romance.
I don't like
just
it
think
either.
the man's attractive.
Yeah.
And I can get behind the actor, not the romance. I did not like that there was a little bit of a romance plot in this because he's not. No.
They really tried hard with that. I ain't
So
gonna
while
lie.
May is the villain, we get an idea that there is like everybody works for somebody, pretty much. And
They really hammered that home every 5 minutes saying it. Sorry.
We figure out exactly who May is working for. Again, very early on. And there's supposed to be a second season. There was supposed to be a second season to this because of the way it ended off, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
This is what happens when you suck, though. This is what happens when you suck. Just saying.
But, like, there were some characters that I did really like. They just didn't get enough screen time, like Jackie. I loved that character.
It's a shame she got fucking, like, the equivalent of a street fight stabbed several times.
Yeah, again, did not get a lot of fucking screen time because, I really don't know how they would have continued on for a season 2 when you kill off 90% of your fucking characters.
No, they were bringing in Yoda. You
Oh,
saw the
geez.
ending.
Yes, I saw the ending.
You saw
but
the ending.
still.
They were bringing in Yoda. Very important. Never seen before. That's like their Captain America will return in Doomsday thing, That's their thing.
Yord was an okay character. He's one of the Jedi.
I go 50-50.
One of the Jedi that Osha was, was training with.
I'm okay with him.
He was okay. He felt a little reminiscent of Obi-Wan though, very by the book.
Yeah.
But trying to play the nice guy. It was, I don't know, it just felt like a recycled character. Not much came from him.
Now, I'm just going to say it. Everyone was stupid anyways at some point in the show. This whole show is just, this would be solved faster if people were not stupid, the end.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to tell me you let May escape like that? In, episode 3, 4? When they track her down and her dealer of the poison, essentially, who is the big bad anyways, whoopsies. Because, she technically doesn't know who he is, her master. So, that's the fun part. Who's the master? Oh, how about the guy that was playing funny the whole time? And then his master, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But, everyone's so stupid. How do you allow her to escape like that? I know the Jedi in the prequels are technically bumbling in their own downfall. Yes. Is this supposed to be the precursor of that, where they're all really stupid? Yes. But my God, everyone lost brain cells at some point, even the villain, and I hated that. Mm-hmm. I hated that. Especially when most of your show is talking that goes nowhere sometimes, A lot of this was just talking, in my opinion. And then you spent 2 episodes on flashbacks. Mm-hmm. Entire episodes on flashbacks. That could have been, a big twist reveal in 2 3-minute flashbacks.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Or sprinkled throughout with different perspectives.
I almost wish we got more backstory, though, because there's a scene that I want to talk about, like, more towards the end that would have benefited from some past scenes, but...
Yeah, scenes, not whole episodes of the 8. The 8, okay?
Yeah.
We get one episode that's a flashback halfway, and then the other one's the second to last episode that reveals the truth. As if we probably didn't already guess what the truth was. But please talk about your scene first before we get to those revelations.
Yeah, I think we were pretty much caught up on characters, right?
I don't care. I don't care about anybody. Soul's the only one I kind of care about, and even then, towards the end, I don't care. They go back on everything.
Yeah, they
went back on so much. They backtracked, and I get there's a point to be proven about morality, but it's such a boring, uninteresting, not original, not even built up point about morality. Okay?
Yeah, one of the things that I want to talk about really quick before we get into, like, big overarching plots are the fighting scenes, because they are, I mean, it's going to be, like, a little quick thing. There's not much that we are going to say about these. But they felt like they were fun at first, but every single one felt more like a choreographed dance.
The sequel. It's the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, than an actual battle. And that's...
Because that's what they are.
That's really disappointing, because it's fun to watch for a little bit, but then you're like, if I wanted to watch somebody dance...
I like when he headbutted the lightsaber. That was great. That was great. And then you take away his power and make him such a bitch.
Yeah.
I just, like... And then he Shawshanks her 3 times in the chest, Jackie, and that's brutal. She was, like, the one character I liked, really, throughout.
Yeah.
And then she gets Shawshanked, like, in a triangle stab formation.
A lot of promise.
Yeah, no, everyone did, but they killed them off. And I get it's to show power, but damn, that was wild. And you don't even use your Wookiee Jedi. One of the rare instances of a Wookiee Jedi, since you've gotten rid of our other Wookiee Jedi, Disney... Losers. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm still mad about that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It just wasn't, like, fun after the first couple. Like, I really enjoyed. I think it opened up
couple
with
minutes?
a really strong, well, couple episodes.
Couple minutes. Just say it. Couple minutes. Just say it. Couple minutes.
Yeah, I think it opened really, really strong with that battle. You were intrigued, you were invested, and then you saw that it was the exact same choreography all the way through. And I know it's only 8 episodes, but there's a reason it's only 8 episodes.
I just want to point this out there for all the haters out there of this movie. Solo did a better job talking about morality and how you can't trust no one than this show did.
Yeah.
I'll put it out there.
I mean, they really hammered home that...
Everyone works for someone.
Everyone worked for somebody.
Everyone works for someone.
And you can't trust anybody, which we find out exactly why in the second to last episode and in the last episode. One of the things that Soul says is our memories are lessons. If we don't meditate on the past, we are doomed to repeat it.
Okay, you're gaslighting.
Literally, though, because we find out exactly why he says that.
Go ahead. Just talk about the big plot twist. Like,
yeah, this is going to be a short episode.
This is a short episode because we're already at 13 minutes. This is such a frustrating episode because this show could have been good. And listen, I didn't care too much about the battle because I'm like, oh, they're going to do typical plot points. But the first episode had some great intrigue. And then the ending episode had something that could have been interesting and tied the lore together that I'll get to in a minute. But after she talks about this stupid fucking plot point.
Okay.
But, I'm so mad about this show. It could have been good.
Soul was my favorite character at the beginning. And then we get the flashback episodes.
The 7th.
And we find out that the reason that he feels so guilty is because he is the one that killed Osha's entire family, starting with her mother.
Anakin.
And, like, not only, like, that's not really the part that I was really mad about. I was super mad about how instantly he felt a connection to Osha. It came off so weird. Gave me like a really gross feeling.
He's trying.
How he was so overly connected to her after literally just laying eyes on her.
I mean, let's be honest here. I feel like you can make connections to that side of the creepy aspect. You can also make a connection to the fact this is probably a decent way to segue into the one commentary I want people to take away from this. This man went and burnt a tribe that was native and had some magical spiritual insight. and then saved one person and said, I can connect with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never heard that once before in the history of anything.
Yeah.
Never once heard about
That's
anyone.
also a really good point.
I've never once heard about anybody attacking native people and taking their children to better them. Never once heard that before in my fucking life. And, you know, Star Wars isn't political. They could fucking never do that. It's about the guy going, Wah! I'm very mad.
No, but that is actually a really, really great point. But it completely ruined his character literally in five seconds.
I wish they stuck with that plot point with him and showed throughout, like, loosely his guilt with that.
Right, because we didn't get that.
No, we didn't. Instead, it comes off creepy, like you said.
It comes off so creepy.
And, like, it muddles the other point that I brought up, honestly, because people are now going to not remember that one. They're going to compare it to, like, hey, get on my jet. We're going to my island. That's what they're going to compare it to. And that makes me so mad because both points are valid, but that was not the intention, I'm pretty sure. It's the point that I brought up, which it's because... Because there's some good ideas here, and it pisses me off because that plot point could have been great. They rushed everything. They tried to rush the whodunit so much. Sorry, I had a burp stuck. Keep that in. I don't give a shit. They rushed the fucking whodunit so much, then to go, oh my god, I can teach you the dark side. And that was wonderful.
Yeah, it does make you wonder where it would have gone because I feel like the last episode had a little bit of promise. It had a little bit of... I know you might disagree with me, but I love a good cliffhanger.
It had a decent cliffhanger, but I hate that we got to that point.
I know. It should have been interesting all the way through. If you're going to have a cliffhanger like that, you need to have the build-up to make me interested in it. And another scene that I really want to talk about is the last scene with May and Osha. I have a sister. My sister is, like, one of my best friends. I love her so much.
I suppose.
But, like, to see, like, if you're going to have a sisters with this dynamic, we need to see the good and the bad, and all we saw was the bad.
It wasn't even the bad. It was just May was a bitch.
Well,
like, I get it.
Yes and no.
I get it, but, like... It was so fucking stupid, especially because they led us up this whole time to believe that she started the fire, okay? Yeah. Made us believe that the whole time, and then it's just like, no, it wasn't just her, like, child self going to the dark side typically in a child fit of jealousy. You know, it was just, she's a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she did start the fire. I don't think it was 100% purposeful.
No, it wasn't, but it could have been a good talking point that she fell to the dark side early with her emotions, but no, it's because she's just a bitch. And she never really, I feel like, if I'm wrong, correct me, we never really feel like she goes back on her guilt. No. And has that turmoil like Anakin and Luke and other people have.
No, you're right. And we got that nice scene, that sweet sentimental scene, but I didn't care about that scene because at this point, all I've seen is them hating each other and May starting a fire.
She knocked out her own sister after she said, no, I'm not joining you, and just knocked her out, disguised herself as said sister, left her sister in the woods with the murderous Sith Lord that was her master and was already out for blood as it is, and then tries to kill the Jedi anyways.
Yeah.
She has no regard. There's that nice moment, but how am I supposed to care when May does everything that contradicts as a sister, as a person even, that's supposed to care? You literally have made a worse villain than Kylo Ren.
But I think we can kind of excuse that because of the biggest reveal of the show. And that they're not twin sisters. They are the same person.
Yep.
They were both created by the witches.
Yep.
And again, another thing that's kind of left unanswered is that they were supposed to be the saving point of this coven, but we never really understand how they were supposed to save this entire coven. We got 2 full episodes of flashbacks, and that question was never answered.
Let's be honest here. Even in season 2, I'm gonna say it. I don't even think they would know the answer.
I don't think
they shrugged and went, I don't know. They fucking are. Because you know what they do? I'm gonna interrupt for a second to lose my marbles. The coolest scene and the most pointless scene. We get them leaving the planet, and there's a sinister figure in episode 8 I forget the Sith Lord's name off the top of my head. I keep calling him the dealer because he was the dealer of poison. They leave after all these talks and all this training and wisdom and all that yada yada bullshit, and we see a shadowy figure lurking from a cave going, well, what is this? Like, no words, just breathing into the mic like he's fucking the killer from Black Christmas, okay? Tying back to Christmas, because Merry Christmas. Ha! Anyways, we get the figure. Who is this figure, you may ask? Darth Plagueis, a.k.a. Palpatine's master, a.k.a. the driving force to the entire Star Wars Skywalker saga. Okay? Because if it wasn't for Plagueis, we would not get Palpatine. Like, Palpatine is the driving force in that entire saga, but Point Zero is Plagueis the Wise, and his obsession with life and the dark side. And because of that, Palpatine kills his master in his sleep, takes his wisdom, becomes better than him, teaches Anakin about it to turn him to the dark side, then becomes Darth Vader, then dies, but he doesn't actually die, remember, because his soul transfers into a clone body, which he learned from Darth Plagueis! And then we get Rise of Skywalker. We get one interesting scene that ties in why the High Republic soon led to the Clone Wars, and it's the briefest cameo that they're never going to answer, and even if they wanted to, they won't now that it's canceled. Like, you can't just drop that suddenly without the build-up. We got 1 or 2 episodes of build-up with this power of the Force and this side of the Force after scatterbrained whodunit shit, and then Plagueis. It's so rushed. And it makes me mad because I want to like this show. It has some great plot points and interesting ideas that get muddled because it doesn't even know what it wants to do. And I hate to use this term, but it has a lot of Marvel humor, if you want to call the humor that. Mm-hmm. A lot of we do this, we do that, we got to comment on it, ha ha ha, which they did in Rise of Skywalker with the they fly now. Like, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad because, my God, this is the same year when we got Andor Season 2. We got Andor. This is the same studio that's given us Andor, Rogue One, the finale for Clone Wars. We got Bad Batch. Like, we got Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. Say what you will overall, but they had some great highlights at least. This show makes me so mad because they finally divoted away from anything Old Republic, Clone Wars, Rebellion, and trying to rewrite the Legends canon, okay? And we got that in between, the High Republic they called it, and it's an interesting period. And like they do stuff with books, sure. I don't think we got a video game in the High Republic yet. We may never explore the High Republic again after this, but the books haven't sold well, I think, if I remember stats right. And the show had been canceled after 1 season because it went nowhere trying to do everything all at once. And we're never gonna get the answers, if any, because I don't know how they would tie this in, and I know I'm right when I say this because I know the studio. I don't know how they would tie this into Phantom Menace. I don't know how, but they would try to because they already tried to tie in Plagueis.
Yeah, I don't know. I had such high hopes, and this is probably the most disappointing.
Yes, that's the way to put it.
This is the most disappointing, I think, probably even lower than the sequel trilogy, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I'm honestly with you. I find more joy watching Last Jedi than this. Like, I'm sorry, I kept making the running joke where I would snore every 5 minutes, but it's true. A lot of conversations go nowhere and hammer the same point home. It's telling rather than showing, and it pisses me off.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put that because, I use that term in books all the time, but I never really associate it with movies, but it does happen a lot on screen.
It angers me so much, especially because we could use that time to see more of the Jedi. Like, the one that, like, takes the poison and dies with his own guilt, okay? Mm-hmm. We could have had so much more time with something like that and exploring each Jedi's thing, but instead we get Soul, a brief glimpse of someone that feels guilt, and then the Wookiee Jedi's off in Cancun or some shit. Like, literally living his best life in fucking Cancun, essentially. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
He's in the forest, they said. Wow. This looks like the fucking Amazon. He's living his best life. This is Kashyyyk Part 2 for him. It's not a punishment. It's not a life of solidarity. This man's having the time of his life. He loves the jungle. He lived on Kashyyyk. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that's gonna be a bit somewhere. Someone's gonna clip that, I feel like, and make that a whole bit. I'm scared. This show makes me so mad because I don't hate it as much as, like, I don't hate it to hate it. I hate it because it's disappointing. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
I hate it. I don't hate it because it's bad. It is kind of bad, but it has glimpses. It's not downright abysmal like a lot of people will have you believe. It's bad because it's disappointing, and there's a stark difference. The visual flair and the music, again, not good. This is like the least visually impressive Star Wars in my opinion, other than Rise of Skywalker. It has its glimpses, but it's so typical. It plays the visuals so safe.
I mean, I do feel like we got like a lot of planets. I feel like we got a lot of
like
worlds.
the jungle and the forest and the mountain range with the witch coven. Which, hey, in case anyone forgot, Dathomir exists. Just saying. If you want a coven of witches, the Night Sisters are right fucking there and are better. But we'll get there when we get the Clone Wars. It's so typical. And yeah, Hoth is a typical snow planet. Well, at least the alien life was interesting, okay? We got Wampas and Tauntauns in one of the greatest battles of all time in the Battle of Hoth. Like, some of these planets are typical terrains, yes, but at least they have interesting life and interesting factors around them. This does not have any of that flair. At all. And it pisses me off. Like, that planet, I forget the name of the planet, but, like, where they had that whole assassination on the Jedi, like, he took the poison, you could have just fooled me that was one of the planets from Rise of Skywalker when they went to Poe's girlfriend. Complicated relationship.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think that might actually be the same planet. I could be wrong. I don't think it is, but you could have fooled me if it wasn't. I'm hacking along. My stomach's upset, and I'm upset.
You are upset.
I don't want to hate this.
I know, I agree. But, I mean, what are you going to do when you have such high hopes for something and they fuck it up again?
I didn't even have high hopes. Can I be honest with everyone? I didn't have high hopes coming into this. I looked at the movies, and I look at how they handled some of the other shows that weren't Andor, and I was like, okay, I'm scared. Like, Mandalorian Season 3, say what you will, it's not the worst piece of Star Wars media. It's not even the worst piece of media like many people believe you, but it's a whiplash from Seasons 1 and 2. Book of Boba Fett, like, there are interesting pieces, but they're not doing anything right with the shows at all. And I didn't have high expectations, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a chance like anything else. And then I started to feel a little bit of new hope in there, and it was still let down anyways. I didn't have high expectations with this, and I still walked away pissed off.
Yeah, I think this might have been better as a movie, if I'm being honest.
No.
I don't think... I mean, if it was formatted differently, because I don't think there was just enough there for it to be a good show.
I don't think there was enough for it to be a movie either. You're basically looking to now condense everything we just talked about into a 2-hour movie. That's not going to go well.
I guess. I don't know. It just didn't... I don't know. There just wasn't enough intrigue there at all, I guess.
There's never going to be enough intrigue, okay? It's just how they built it up. It's not impressive visually. The script is written like a 5-year-old in some places, and even then that's basically an insult, considering one of the younglings Anakin killed could have written better than that. Just saying. Like, this is just, it's so out there, and I'm so mad to talk about it like this, because I really did have hope for it. I'm not like the Star Wars fans who walked in going, yeah, this is gonna suck. I didn't have hope, but I at least wanted to give this a fair shot, because no matter what you think about a track record for a company, if you're going to indulge in something, you can't go in with a sour mind or an overly hopeful mind. Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up for failure. That is the biggest thing when it comes to media consumption that so many people forget to talk about when they want to talk about it critically, is that you cannot let the emotions take over, even if it's your personal piece of media. I do it all the time with Pokemon, and even then, I'm willing to acknowledge my biases to a bunch of media that I consume. But I'm also not going to sit here and say it's the worst thing or the best thing. I'm mad because I'm disappointed.
So where do you think Season 2 would have taken us?
Fucking to the garbage bin.
What do you
Trash planet.
Well, with the predictability of this show, where do you think it would have taken us?
I could tell you where it goes. They would imply a little bit more of the sisters. You would get Osha maybe trying to, like, ride the guilt, but Soul's Ghost Jedi is like, hey, what's up? And then tries to make himself be forgiven. The end. Like, maybe something detailing back to the idea of them being the same person that, you know, That force is being replicated still, like clone style. The end. Soul, for all he does, finally whiplashes back to being good again. Everyone thinks he's cool. After his Ghost Jedi starts a monologue, sitting on a log, probably going, yo, that was my fucking bad, dog. And everyone's like, okay, I believe you. And then we would have gotten the finale. The end. I really think that's it. And it's the most boring, straightforward idea ever. But you know what? Neither is a show. There's nothing I think they could have tied together other than another half-brained whodunit. Yeah. And even then, I don't think it would be a thing. It would just probably go back to what you're talking about them being the same person, and finish everything off with that talking point. Osha may just go live on Cancun where the Wookiee did, take his house and be like, yo, this is mine now. Or better yet, go to Naboo to tie back to Phantom Menace. She's going to go to Naboo, okay? There's nothing that I feel like season 2 could have done to make me interested, because they tied Darth Plagueis. The only interesting thing I could say is if they used Darth Plagueis to go apeshit on a bunch of people, and then no one survives, so that's why the Jedi don't know about the dark side until Phantom Menace. The end. Or maybe bring Palpatine into the mix and let his gears start turning before Plagueis. Actually, there you go, right there. You go to Naboo, because Palpatine is from Naboo, okay? Mm-hmm. You go to Naboo, and there's some mission. There's some part of the whodunit. Palpatine, teetering on the edge like he always does, sees about all this stuff going on, and being Force-sensitive, senses something about everybody going on. Senses the dark side, especially. Like Osha and, I forget her master's name, or her friend's name, when they were bonding together, the romance or whatever. I don't fucking...
Khmer or something
Khmer, I think. Khmer or something like that. So, basically, they go to Naboo, or there's a chase that leads to Naboo, and we run into Palpatine, which then ties back to Darth Plagueis. The end. There's your tie. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Because they would tie it to Phantom Menace somehow. I forget how long ago it is before the Phantom Menace, but they would tie it into Phantom Menace by starting the gears of Plagueis and Palpatine, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do anything interesting.
I think that's so fair. I don't really think I have anything else to say about this unless you have any questions.
Where do you think season 2 would go? Fucking let's hear your thoughts.
I think I literally have no idea where it could have ended up. I think maybe they would have found some way to bring back May's memory, because at the end they take away May and Osha's memory of each other, so they don't remember each other. I think they would have tried to find a way to do that, but
Soul's Force Ghost.
Maybe. But then, I don't know, would Osha have stayed on the dark side, or would she have,
she'll have a last second heel turn.
Would both sisters have gone to the dark side?
No, May would die. May would die.
Fair.
That's it. May would die, There's a rule of 2, a master and an apprentice. And to quote Palpatine, you are no longer my apprentice. Boom. Done. But even then, Osha's the only survivor. So, yeah.
Benson didn't like my joke because when we were first watching it, I asked if they found her innocent, would it be considered an OSHA violation that they accused her in the first place?
This whole show is an OSHA violation. The only cool thing was that fight where we get the reveal of who May's master is. And even that was short-lived, because he headbutted the lightsaber 1 or 2 times, bringing up some intrigue about kyber crystals, and then he stabbed Jecki a couple times at the end. And that was the most brutal killing, I think, in any of Star Wars. Forget Darth Maul cut in half. Forget Anakin. Just being Shawshanked 3 times in the chest, and then just left to die as if you were a piece of meat. Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. But that's the only glimpse. I'm so mad about this show, other than the last opposite of the sequel, because that's bad to be bad. This is bad because it's disappointing. There's a difference, I keep saying. And I'm so mad because even with not many expectations, I expected something cohesive. Even a little bit. This is a fresh start for an era that was mostly books that didn't sell well. That I don't even know what the critical acclaim is for these books. I think they're just good. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are young reader books anyways, so...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how people feel about it, but I feel like this show killed any chance of the High Republic being interesting. Oh, excuse me, especially now, because we're going back to the Old Republic anyways. We're getting a video game in 2030 Fate of the Old Republic announced at the Game Awards, literally announced with no gameplay because they just started working on development. What the fuck was that about? And then I think the Galactic Racers game that's coming out next year is set right after Rise of Skywalker because it takes place on different planets like Jakku, and it's like, yo, let's race across the galaxy. That's it. So, I don't know if it's original trilogy or sequel trilogy, but I know Palpatine being dead is somewhere in there. Like, let's race across the galaxy. Let's have fun. I think it's after the sequel trilogy, but we have already abandoned the High Republic after a couple books, couple comics, and a show. I don't even think there was a video game on it. If there could be, I think it's dead in the water at this point. We're getting a tactics-based Star Wars video game set in the Clone Wars, so I can already tell you where all pieces of media are lying towards. We're not getting anything High Republic anymore, I think. And honestly, I'm sure the books are great. Acolyte, though, killed off any chance of the High Republic being interesting. And I really think it did. And it did it by being the most disappointing, weird, unfocused show of all time. In regards to Star Wars, I should say. Not of all time, but of Star Wars all time. So, that's my thought. That's my final word.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you just said. I don't think, like, there were times where I was really intrigued and invested in what was going on the screen, but those were quickly removed. Yeah, it just wasn't my favorite, and honestly, I think because I had such high hopes, the show falls under the sequel series for me.
I mean, it's still, I didn't have high hopes that it still falls under the sequel series for me. It's just not good. Mm-hmm. At least there was Force Awakens in the sequel trilogy to try to prop everything up. Who cares about this? Is anyone going to talk about this a year from now? No. Maybe. Unless they suddenly revive it or tie something back to it. But again, no way they're gonna, because the High Republic's probably dead. Just saying.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Nope.
Nothing.
I have nothing. We've talked about the music. We talked about the battles. We've talked about the plots. And a lot of the characters just don't have a lot of depth.
Or a lot of time on screen.
Or a lot of time to cover that depth. They fall into specific tropes or into 6 feet under graves.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
All of them. Most of them. 90% of them.
Even OSHA, is not interesting, really. You want to play this conflict out in her mind about her sister and the Jedi and everything else, but we already have someone that left the Jedi Order and had some conflicts of mind. But I'm not going to go into spoilers about that because you haven't technically gotten there yet. Mm-hmm. So, we already have someone more interesting anyways. Hate to say it. You want to cover that trope again? Fine. You want to cover it again in a different era? Fine. Make it interesting. You don't. You just don't. You make it a sibling drama-rama. That's it. That's all there is.
All right.
And throw some dick waving for romance for all the sickos on Book Talk. Just for the hell of it.
All right, if you're watching along with us, next time we are talking about Visions. This is a pretty straightforward show, so I expect another short episode.
It's an
next
anthology
time.
series.
It is an anthology series that all takes place in the world of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Different styles, different animators, different stories. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't imagine it's going to be a very long episode, but
no.
Make sure to tune in next week, just in case we have some fun things to talk about.
What did you think of the Acolyte? There's your question of the day.
Yes, what did you think of the Acolyte?
That's it. All right, roll the credits.
Thanks for hanging out with us in the Ketchup Corner. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. May the Force be with you. Except maybe not, because they never answer that question anyways.